Yo, what's up guys, I'm Charis and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you 15 Raksha tips and tricks that can help you with your kills. Whether you're trying to kill Raksha for the first time or just improve your times on your kills, this video is going to help you out. These are just a few things that I've learned by killing Raksha myself and I want to share them with you. So let's get started. The first few tips are about prayer flicking, and you've probably heard them before if you've watched a different Raksha guide. But they are so important that I just thought I'd include them here. But I'm not going to go into too much detail here, so if you want to learn more about prayer flicking, TheRsGuy made a really good guide on it and I'm going to leave the link in the description. Anyway, tip number 1 is to keybind everything. This is especially important for your prayers since you're going to have to be clicking them throughout the whole fight. But it's also important for things like your planted feet switch, your death swiftness, your ring of vigor, your adrenaline pot, things that you're going to be using a lot through the fight. Having all of these things keybinded means you can train your muscle memory to just click everything at once and you just don't have to be moving your cursor around. Tip number 2 is to stop kiting and stay melee distance. It seems like moving around would be easier since you only have to flick between 2 prayers, but it's only going to distract you since you have to be clicking around all the time. And flicking through 2 prayers is really not that different than flicking through 3. You can even use Revolution for your basics while you're learning and just getting used to flicking through 3 prayers. Once you practice it enough, you will be flicking through 4, which gets us to our next tip. Number 3 is of course soul split flicking. The main reason why I think it's especially worth it to soul split flick at Raksha is that you're gonna have to switch your prayer on the next attack anyway. At other bosses, you're gonna stick to one single prayer, and soul split flicking means you have to switch back to that prayer every time you flick. But at Raksha, you're gonna have to switch anyway, so just clicking soul split after you get hit and then clicking the next prayer afterwards will become second nature once you practice it enough. Tip number 4 is to walk 2 tiles back whenever you get a tail swipe. Even though you can avoid the damage by walking just 1 step back, walking 2 tiles back means Raksha will have to walk 1 more tile, and that will guarantee that the next attack won't be a melee attack. As you probably know, the animation for the melee attack is a little bit longer, so guaranteeing that you won't get a melee attack means you have a little bit more time to prayer flick. If you do get hit by a tail swipe, don't use freedom right away. Instead, look at your debuff bar. You will get stunned for 4 seconds, which is enough time for you to spam your food as soon as that's over and prayer flick for the next attack. If the next attack is a melee attack, it will come out a little bit quicker, but you still have time to use your food. You don't want to use your freedom because you want to save that for the next attack, which is the Mage bomb that stuns you. If you're sure that you're going to face Raksha before the next attack, then by all means go ahead and use your freedom. Tip number 6 is for the Rockfall special. When the Rockfall first starts, you don't have to move right away. Wait for the debris to fall on you, and that means the rock is about to fall, and then do one more ability and then you can move away. For the rest of the special, you don't want to go in a straight line to wherever you want to be. Instead, you want to do a U-shape and always stay close to Raksha so that you can do abilities while running around. You always want to pay attention ahead of you so that you can see the debris falling and try to avoid the places where rocks are going to fall. I see a lot of people using Reflect for this part so that the Rockfall does less damage. I personally don't think it's worth it since it's going to cost you adrenaline and DPS. And even if you do get hit by one of the rocks, it's not the end of the world, just stay calm, eat up, and keep DPSing. Tip number 7 is to not panic run or surge away from the Mage bomb. Even though the smoke it leaves behind is a 3x3 area, the bomb itself will only hit you in the tile marked by the arrows. So all you have to do is freedom or anticipate beforehand, and then just move 3 tiles in any direction and you'll be safe from the bomb. This is a good time to use your resonance if you are having trouble keeping your HP up. This is especially important in P3, where if you surge away, the bomb is just going to land wherever you land, so it's better to just walk away slowly. If you have your death swiftness up, it is a good idea to surge away and then walk slowly back to your death swiftness. Unless of course you know you can face the boss without it. Tip number 8 is for those people who can face Raksha before the Mage onslaught attack. This is a special attack where Raksha goes to the middle of the arena and does 5 quick and strong Mage attacks. This is the only time during phases 1 and 2 where Raksha can absorb the Anima pools. So if your DPS is high enough to skip this attack, you don't have to worry about the Anima pools until you get him to 400k HP. Tip number 9 is the absolute quickest way to deal with the Anima pools when you face him from phase 2 to phase 3. For this method, you need Bladed Dive, which is an ability unlocked through Shattered Worlds, Laceration Boots, which allow you to use Bladed Dive with only 1 weapon equipped, and a weapon with halberd range like a Noxious Scythe, a Dragon Rider Lance, or a Masuda's War Spear. Bladed Dive is an AoE ability, and the cooldown resets if your target dies within 6 seconds of using it. Pairing this with a weapon that has halberd range will allow you to hit every single pool with just one Bladed Dive, resetting the cooldown and making it so that you can go from pool to pool, just jumping around and killing every single one of them. Raksha will spawn some more Anima pools as soon as it goes into transition from phase 2 to phase 3, so you have to get the timing right so that you kill every single one of them with Bladed Dive. But even if you do mess up the timing and leave 1 or 2 alive, they'll heal Raksha a little bit, but not enough that it'll make a difference in your kill. Tip number 10 is a quick one and is for people using the Bladed Dive method to clear the Anima pools. If you use the ability directly on the Anima pools, you will go to it and you will kill it, but you won't be gaining any adrenaline from it. Instead, what you should be doing is clicking once on the pool before diving to it, and that way you will get adrenaline from using the Bladed Dive ability. The next tip is on how to deal with a minion, and the quickest way to kill it is by using bleeds on it. The minion usually spawns far away from you and is already moving towards you, so using Fragmentation Shot will do double damage from the first hit. After that, you use Corruption Shot on it and then switch targets to Raksha, and if the minion doesn't die from the bleeds, which does happen, rarely but it does, you can just use Ricochet on Raksha and that will bounce off and kill the minion. Next up is to call your familiar when you're at P4. You probably already know during P4 you want to stay at melee distance so that you can avoid the Mage bomb attack and you only get tail swipes. When you do that, it's really easy for your familiar to get stuck behind the pillars and not do any damage. So whenever you move to melee distance from Raksha, whether that's at the beginning of the phase or after you run around the room collecting the shattered Anima, you should be calling your familiars to make sure it's helping you out with the damage. Number 13 is to use thresholds on the Anima shield. During phase 4, Raksha is going to bring up a shield that you have to break before you can keep damaging him. It might seem like you don't want to waste your thresholds on this shield so that you can do damage to him, when in fact you just want to get rid of that shield as quickly as possible so that you can get on to the next part of the fight. Tip number 14 is to gather as much Anima as possible. Every single bit you gather is going to be a 10% extra damage boost whenever you do use this special. It will spawn 15 of them in a solo fight, which means you'll be doing 150% extra damage once you press that button, and that is on top of your death swiftness if you are using it. Do a full lap around the arena, picking up as many of them as you can. Once you get back to where you started, just use death swiftness plus the special attack button to do crazy amount of damage. It's not always possible to get all 15 of them, but if you do get them, you will be doing pretty much 10k with every single ability. And finally, for tip number 15, we have use the Storm Shards ability. This ability can be unlocked by using a Mask-Up ability codex, which can be bought on the GE, or you can get it through raids. Using the codex will unlock the Storm Shards and Shatter abilities. Every time you use the Storm Shards ability, you'll add 1 stack to the boss, up to 10, and then when you use Shatter, you'll do up to 30,000 damage. At Raksha, by using the Anima boost in P4, you can hit a 30,000 with only 4 shards. What I do is add a shard every time I face the boss, so 1 between P1 and P2, 1 between P2 and P3, 1 right before P3 ends and I face it to phase 4, and then 1 last one during phase 4 when I'm running around the arena collecting the Anima. Finally, I use Shatter once I've activated the Anima boost to hit a free 30,000 damage. So that's it for all 15 tips. I try not to include things that revolve around money like a certain gut bow or an Essence of Finality dark bow, but I do hope you enjoyed. I hope this helps you out with Raksha. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. You can also click on screen now to go to my channel, my Road to Golden Reaper playlist, and a random video that YouTube will suggest for you. And I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.